Brighton 3, Newcastle United 0. I'm Alex Hurst doing a post-match reaction video. I'm trying to do this without smiling and laughing, and it's not really a laughing or smiling matter, but I can't get over how everyone watching this, every Newcastle fan anyway, I'm absolutely confident that you knew tonight would be terrible. We all knew. I knew Newcastle were going to be shit tonight. That was without question. They were going to get beat and they were going to be shit. I knew that. Went into the game, recorded a podcast on paper and through the week with Norman State of Play, said Newcastle will lose tonight. Bookies were like 6-1 before the game. Everyone knew Newcastle were going to lose this game tonight. And yet still, I'm shocked. I'm shocked at how bad they were. Shouldn't be shocked, but I am. Like, how can you expect your team to be that bad? I expected the team to be bad. I expected us to lose comfortably. And yet still, the expectation of terribleness has been surpassed by Steve Bruce and his team and his coaching staff. So that's something to get out there right away. I feel like that was maybe the worst performance of the season, considering the context of the game and the importance of it. However, someone just tweeted me there saying Newport County in League Two took the piss out of us when they played. So I was surprised. I think the performances against Fulham at home, first half in particular, before they got wrongly put down to 10 men. Sheffield United away, obviously, a classic of the genre. Brentford away, West Brom away. What we saw tonight was that performance again, and I kind of think, what have they been working on all week in the training ground, assuming they've actually been in training. The truth of the matter is that the more the team and the players train with Bruce and those coaching staff, the worse they get. So when I think to myself, what have they been doing in training? Getting worse is the answer, because you've seen the regression in a lot of these players. Joe Willock comes in, looks a really good player, looks a footballer, looks good, looks comfortable on the ball, box to box, engine. Played on the right of a diamond. Never played there before in his career, probably. Doesn't know how to track back. Can't support the fullback. Doesn't know what he's doing. It gets worse by the week, but also it gets more predictable. But it seems to hurt even more, and it seems. I don't know. I laugh when the goals go in. I don't have friends who laugh now when the goals go in. Like, we conceded the same goal twice tonight, the exact same goal twice. Get the lads in at half-time. Right, we've been shite. Don't concede any more stupid goals. Same goal. Exactly the same goal, almost. Probably from further out. Brighton can't score. Can't win, can't score. Play Newcastle, 6 goals. 6 goals. Graham Potter loves Steve Bruce. There's just so much to think and talk about. But the key point is that this is a Newcastle United side who we've watched regularly as Newcastle fans, and inexplicably they are getting worse. The formation stinks. The formation doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to not play with strikers, yet we turn up tonight for the biggest game of the season with no strikers. It's not Joe Linton's fault we got beat tonight. It's not his fault. He's shite, but that's not his fault. He didn't pick himself. What are you going to do in a game when you've got Ryan Fraser, who isn't going to score, and on the other side is one of your split strikers is Joe Linton, who's like 1 in 30. Like, how are you supposed to win a game playing like that? What's the plan? How are you supposed to win? If everything goes well, how is it supposed to look if those two are the lads who are supposed to score your goals? Isaac Hayden on the left of midfield, before he got his injury, hope he's all right. Probably not. What's it supposed to look like? What is that working well supposed to look like? Brings on Jeff Hendrick. Batshit. But, what is Jeff Hendrick coming on? What's the ideal scenario? And Steve Bruce and Graham Jones and whoever else makes that decision's head. What are the things Jeff Hendrick can do to positively impact the game? I think the ball is allergic to Jeff Hendrick, because any time it goes near him, it soon disappears in an opposite direction where it's not supposed to go. So Newcastle have lost. 3-0 in the biggest game of the season. We knew they'd lose. But Brighton, remember, they couldn't score. One home win all season. I don't think they scored, more than one in a home game for a little while. And they could, it wasn't even a game tonight. It wasn't even a game. Newcastle approached that game tonight like a League Two side, like a conference side. It's like if Gateshead went to Brighton in the FA Cup, that's the kind of performance you'd expect them to put in. But they would run. They would move about. We don't even run. The players, watch the second half. The players don't run. They don't hassle. They don't harry. They don't press. We just kind of walk around for a little bit, give the ball back to the opposition, and then run back towards our own goal. You might get an odd Almiron or Fraser, the odd sprint, the odd burst. We don't run. We're not a team. We kind of turn up and fulfill the fixture. We fulfill the fixture. Always think to myself, what's the plan? What's it supposed to look like? And I've come to this conclusion earlier in the season, there isn't a plan. I don't think there is a plan. I don't think there's a style or a method out there, because Newcastle have gone from being like this listless, pathetic team for much of the season, playing five at the back. Then they kind of, had this like mad 5 minutes against Liverpool where we pressed them and got a 1-0 basically. And then you'd assume that was the template. Go to Everton, press them. Don't have much of the ball, fine, but press them. Make it difficult for them. Make it hard for them to play. Won that game. That's 1 win in 9, by the way. Playing the Graham Jones formation. One win in 9. Played that formation against Southampton, but we didn't play it for the whole game with a 4-4-0 formation at the end. And what was the plan tonight? Like what was supposed to happen? Steve Bruce in the post-match interview says we were beaten by a better side. Okay, yes, they were 1 point ahead of us, Steve, before kickoff, below us before last week in the table, and been below us all season, pretty much. But just you call them an excellent team. They're not excellent. They're Brighton. They're in a relegation battle. Couldn't even give them a game. Couldn't even. It's like a boxing match that couldn't even take it to the third round really, because it was just like, there you go, we're here. You've won. You've won already. You've won the game, Brighton. And Bruce comes out afterwards and says he won't walk away. Why won't he walk away? What? He talks about his experience, relying on experience. Last time Bruce was in the Premier League, he got relegated. Last time he was in the Championship for a long time, he couldn't get a team promoted. So what? We're talking about experience from the middle of the last decade, or the decade before, 2008 with Wigan. Is that the experience he's relying on? It's just. I would say I don't know where the club goes from here, but I imagine 2 weeks of not really doing much on the training ground, crossbar challenge, heads and volleys, days off, sports massages. I don't know, typical things under Steve Bruce. We've just it's hard to find the words. I'm doing a YouTube video. I'm supposed to find the words, and I'm sure I'll have more of them for the podcast tomorrow. But this team are so bad, like so bad. The players are clearly not playing for the manager. Like, how was that a performance for the manager? We were shit last week against Villa, and Steve Bruce said it was important to keep the run going. Well, we've seen the run continue. He's right. This is the run. We are not very good. Played well for 20 minutes v like Leeds. Well for a bit against Everton. Okay for a bit against Southampton. And like that's it for the last like 25 games. That's all I've got to go on. Steve Bruce says we've got to keep the run going. Okay, Steve. He needs to go. He needs to be sacked. If the club don't sack him, which I don't know, the part of pre-game in sections of the media was that he wasn't going to be sacked. Whatever happened tonight, I find it incomprehensible that anyone would think that he is an appropriate person to continue to lead this football club and this football team based on that performance, but also that performance which we've seen so many times previously this season. And just to quantify it a little bit, the pre-match interview with Sky on Football Daily, whatever they call it these days, instead of talking about how they were going to work hard to beat Brighton, how they'd found a solution, how they'd done X, Y, and Z, he was once again talking about journalist Craig Hope. Once again talking. It happened about 3 weeks ago. This now, Steve Bruce, the manager, still talking about it to the media, still complaining about it to the media. Matt Ritchie called him a coward. Steve Bruce says this is the kind of thing that happens every single week in football grounds up and down the country. I think he's a liar. I don't think that's true. I think he's obsessed by himself. I think he's consumed by by his own opinion of himself, and he wants his payoff and he won't leave, and he is more than willing to see Newcastle United relegated to get that payoff. And we will lose the next game against Spurs, and even if we don't, we will lose to Burnley, because we will see a similar type of performance to that which we have seen tonight. And it's just unwatchable. It is unwatchable. Newcastle United are unwatchable, which is a very sad place to be in. And you know what the opportunity afforded to us tonight by Fulham losing yesterday, to be given the opportunity to move 4 or 5 points ahead of the relegation zone, and to put in that performance tonight, it's a real low moment, even for us, even for Bruce, even for the players. That is a low moment tonight, and I don't think I'm going to say there is no coming back from it. There is no coming back from this. He needs to be sacked. Graham Jones isn't the answer. His formation is stupid. It doesn't work. It's fucked with, to be honest with you. I mean, we're already fucked, but even then, we'll beat Everton, who can't stop losing to shit teams at home. So it's 1 win in 9 or 2 wins in 9 using this stupid formation. It doesn't work. Graham Jones isn't the answer. The need to bring in a proper manager. The need to bring in someone who can pick the best players in their best positions. I'll finish with this, because Bruce, once again, post-match interview, talking about injuries. Look down Newcastle's bench tonight. Look down Newcastle's bench. You could make a case that nearly every single one of those players is worth a place in the starting lineup, apart from Hendrick, who we actually brought on, which is another story. But the rest of them, the outfield players, your Fernandez's, your Longstaffs, your Gale, Carroll, playing in like a normal formation where you play strikers, your Jacob Murphy, all of those players you could argue would improve Newcastle United. So if you look at the squad that we have, we can avoid relegation. I'm certain of that. We can avoid relegation with a proper manager, playing a proper formation, picking players who play those positions. It can be possible. They need to sack Steve Bruce. They need to sack Steve Bruce. He needs to leave. We need this international break to prepare for Spurs and Burnley, to give ourselves a chance of staying up. That tonight was one of the worst performances in such a big game I think I've ever seen following this football club. And everyone at the football club who was involved in that, who contributed towards that, should hang their heads in shame. But I don't think they will. I think it'll continue to transpire as it has been. It gives me no joy to say that. I'll probably have to do a few more of these videos after similar humiliations as the season goes on. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel. Give it a like, leave a comment. We'll be back with loads more really negative True Faith content very soon, unfortunately. Thanks for watching.